What's going on, guys? Teddy Baldassarre with TeddyBaldassarre.com. In this video, we're going to be looking at a watch from Rado with the Rado Captain Cook, the 37mm variant. So in this video, we're going to do a deeper dive, taking a look at this watch. Also, at the end, some things to consider, final thoughts on the timepiece, and if you are in the market for this watch, link will be in the description to purchase it at TeddyBaldassarre.com. So we're a full authorized dealer of Rado watches, so definitely check it out. But guys, let's jump into the video and take a closer look at this watch.
All right, so to begin here, probably more than normal, I think it's important to look at the creation of this wristwatch in order to fully understand the modern creation that we have here with this example. So in 1962, Rado unveiled a new model from the brand with a model known as the Captain Cook. Now, the watch became a storied model in its catalog. However, it differed greatly from really what was coming out during this period, with models that were a bit more eclectic, like the Baldassarre, for example, which delivered many firsts for the brand as well as some for the industry as a whole. But after many decades, the Captain Cook fell out of favor as the brand embraced more of these daring designs that used high-tech materials with unorthodox executions. However, in the last several years, Rado has returned to form with these designs that were in line with a more restrained yet timeless aesthetic that still doesn't compromise to their avant-garde approach to design overall. Now, much of this is thanks to the Captain Cook. It's a collection of watches that have now spanned a variety of different sizes and colorways. However, the model that remains most true to those early 1960s versions is the design that we're looking at here today, this one coming in a 37mm case, wearing to the traditional case dimensions that might be too small for some, but those looking in the direction of a vintage proportion dive watch built with modern construction might find the perfect choice for them here. So the 37mm Captain Cook was first unveiled a few years back at Baselworld in what feels like ages ago. Just saying the name Baselworld just seems like a blast from the past, and has since been introduced in many other just dial options. Now, the version that we have today is the kind of golden tone gray dial with a ceramic black bezel, coming on a contrast stitch leather strap, also with a watch roll, a mesh bracelet, and a high quality NATO. So this is available on TeddyBaldassarre.com, full factory warranty as well. And you'll get all those different strap options as well as that watch roll with your purchase. Link in the description down below. Let's begin with talking dimensions here. Let's be frank as well and just get this out of the way and just say this is a smaller watch. It's coming in with dimensions of 37mm and a lug-to-lug of just 43mm. This is going to be best suited for those with smaller wrists or those that really do fancy a dive watch with vintage wearing dimensions. And I know this is not a group in limited supply. However, this is a watch that does wear rather small, closer to probably a 36mm, just given that rotating bezel, making the dial actually appear smaller. That said, dive watches of this size are never oversaturated, and this is easily one of the best examples of one doing it on the market at this price range. In addition to its compact dimensions, in these areas, it also features a very snug fit to the wrist by way of its thickness of just being 11.1mm thick, an impressive feat for a watch of this style, and a heavily domed box sapphire crystal on the front of this thing. This, as a result, is going to allow this watch to wear underneath cuffs of shirts with ease and offering an under-the-radar presence. To counteract the unassuming dimensions, the watch comes in a consistent high polish across the lugs, the side of the case, and even on the side of the coin edge bezel. The watch at these dimensions comes with a drop in water resistance at 100 meters compared to the 42mm variant, which is going to be suitable for 99% of use cases apart from those looking to actually take this thing to its true capable diver spec. However, given the absence of lume on the bezel and the vintage style appeal here, it is evident that this watch is going for something a bit different, yet you should still have yourself covered in pretty much every basic water activity, but if you are looking for a true dive watch, there's probably better options to go for. As discussed earlier, this watch does come with a variety of different watch straps to pair with this timepiece, which is a great incentive of looking in the direction of this watch. And if you really want to lean into the casual look, you can go for that leather strap with accurate contrast stitching, which, there's sometimes debate whether or not leather strap dive watch, does that make a lot of sense? But I think it looks great in this instance. Or you can go for the NATO strap with some nice leather hardware to match the vibe of the rest of the execution. Or if you would like to kind of lean more into the aquatic nature of the timepiece, you could pair it with the mesh style bracelet that this one comes with as well, and that would probably be my choice of the pairing. The bracelet is very well executed, adjusting the size with kind of that traditional fashion with a slide adjuster in the sign clasp, offering a bit more flash to a really restrained piece. Looking at the bezel, we have a black ceramic insert set within that comes in high gloss, adding a bit more of a modern appeal while also offering some modern utility in its resistance against scratches. The bezel is 120 click, click, having some audible feedback in its unidirectional rotation, and does have subtle play. Looking closer at the dial surface, it is very familiar in its layout to the common Captain Cook design, offering printed superluminova markers at each of the hours in more of a faux format, a broad hour hand and pointed minute and second hand containing the matching loom within, and the same written script present at the 6 and 12 with a step date aperture at the 3 with a silver date disc with red text set within. And then finally, to top it all off, the hallmark of the brand in their automatic watches with the Rado anchor that will rotate when handling, which is just a fun feature in the details that I've always enjoyed with Rado timepieces. Flipping the Captain Cook over, we do have a view of a screw-down caseback featuring an embossed display of stars and seahorses at the center, protecting the ETA C07611 within. Now, this movement stems from the family of 80-hour power reserve movements that occupy other Swatch Group brands, and this particular one is basically doing the traditional format of reworking an ETA at a 4 Hz beat rate and then dropping it down to 21,600 vibrations per hour instead to help maximize the energy stored within that coiled mainspring to stretch the power reserve to a very significant 80 hours. In this instance, you're getting all that reliability that comes with the ETA caliber family of watches, also from a dive watch that has a lot of kind of weekend wear type of appeal or maybe a daily driver appeal. Having that 80 hours of power reserve is fantastic to allow you to stretch it out. If you say wanted to sit this on the side for a few days and then come back to it, there's a great perk with that. Also, this movement features hacking and hand winding, so hacking, stopping that second hand when you pull out the crown to the farthest position, and you're also getting, in terms of accuracy, really good performance. Just speaking anecdotally to this one's running at plus 5 seconds per day. All right, so now to unpack, look at some things to consider when looking at this timepiece. So the first thing that comes to mind when looking at this Rado is just going to be the case size. Its appeal, as well as its perhaps reason for having detractors, is going to be the same common focus, and that is its case size of being 37 millimeters. It's going to wear closer to a 36 millimeter case. If you in any sense want a watch that has a bit more presence to it, I would not recommend the 37 millimeter Rado Captain Cook. 42 millimeter option I think would be a better choice for a lot of people out there that want something a bit more modern in its wear. But I know that the overabundance of dive watches in those dimensions is, I think, leaves a lot of different options at your disposal. When it comes to a watch of this case size, not nearly as much as out there if you want something of this style, and I think that is a huge, huge benefit to this timepiece. This is also going to lean more into kind of its design and its more vintage appeal, so you got those aggressive type of faux markers, and then also no actual loom in the bezel, but the loom throughout is, pretty decent and will do its job. Yet many of the attributes that I think people look for when going for Rado, it's very much here. You have those multiple strap pairings at your disposal with the different options with this particular version. You got that fusion of vintage design with modern materials, especially with that ceramic bezel and the polished case, kind of does fuse those two worlds together really well. Also, it is a unique choice. This watch does look pretty distinctive in the marketplace. You might see a little bit of some Breitling vintage Super Oceans in this design, but from an affordable tier, I think this is just really done well. Also, in terms of the movement inside of here, no nonsense, long power reserve, and I think there's ultimately a lot of reasons to look in this direction. If you're going for a smaller dive watch, this should be on a short list up to $2,000, no question. All right, guys, if you enjoyed this video, thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. Also, if you are in the market for this watch, check it out in the link down below. Full authorized dealer of all the brands we carry at TeddyBaldassarre.com. Quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support. Also offer price match, so if you see one of our watches for cheaper than another authorized dealer, fill out the form and we'll reach out to you. And finally, 9 out of every $10 that we generate goes right back into this content that we're creating, trying to foster up a new generation of watch enthusiasts in the process. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.